They have real dark hair, and it's only 2. But he did introduce us as the McGuire Sisters. And actually, it worked pretty well because the audience felt a little sympathy for us, and we got a real big hand.
I'm sure you did. Now, what I'm curious about is, did he see you and then do that?
He saw us. He really did. He was a wonderful, wonderful man. And, you know, but no, bless his heart.
He asked us if the 4 of us were twins.
Are you all twins?
Oh, well, I said yes, and mother hurts. Because we're going to take a break, and when we return, which one of these loving sisters rescued the other from a wet bed? We'll be back in a minute.
On Vicki, meet the mothers of today's hottest young stars. Punky Brewster's Soleil Moon Frye, Olympic medalist Christy Yamaguchi, rapper Hammer, and Married with Children's Christina Applegate. And if anyone knows their most embarrassing secrets, it's Mom.
Well, what did you name him?
Stanley.
You know, 10 or 11, she's making booze and bombs. The bedroom is a mess. She never learned how to make a bed.
Christina Ferrari hosts next Vicki.
Back, and we're reminiscing and catching up with some of your all-time favorite showbiz sisters, the McGuire Sisters, the Lennon Sisters, and the Landers Sisters. Now, who rescued who from the wet bed? We must get to the bottom of this story, so to speak.
Wait a second, you have to understand, this was not like last year.
Okay.
It was a long, long time ago. You know, but our relationship hasn't changed. That's the funny thing.
She always rescues me. See, I was 3 and she was 5, and our relationship is still the same as when we were 3 and 5. I mean, we both grew up, but
no,
still...
Did we? No.
What happened was, I was at a babysitter's house because my mom had to work, and Audrey was in kindergarten, and...
Here you are.
Oh, my gosh.
There you are. Oh, girl.
Audrey and I always shared a bed together. So the babysitter was putting me down for a nap, and she had a son that was the same age, and I just assumed that I would get to sleep in the same bed with him. And she said no, and I was crying. She made me sleep in my own bed. Well, anyway, I ended up wetting the bed.
But I came home from kindergarten, and I sneak in, and I see that Judy's still sleeping, and the little boy is sleeping in the next bed.
So anyway, I wake up and I tell Audrey what happened. And she says, "Don't worry, Judy, I'll take care of it." So she picks up the little boy, puts him in my bed.
And what a good girl.
Have to stick together.
You do it. Look out for each other.
You do. What a good... Look what I found, you girls. Lennon Sisters paper dolls.
That's right. And the one of Janet.
These are, I know, nobody even
I always got the ugliest clothes. My sisters always got these pretty clothes, and I got this little frilly
She was like the little
You have to
girl.
put, oh, I see, the clothes are marked, aren't they?
Yes.
Little...
And we always wanted all that wardrobe.
We couldn't wait for them to come out so we could see what kind of clothes we had.
These are absolutely hysterical.
That's fun. I found one set at a thrift shop under old collectibles, and I thought, oh, how embarrassing. I'm now an old collectible.
Yes, I'm afraid you are, Kathy. I don't know what to tell you. Can you see this?
Is that adorable, Janet?
You girls, you girls were fans of the McGuires when you were growing up.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. We sang
Sang all your songs.
Yeah.
And, you know, well, like you say, our first one was He, and we used to do Sincerely and Sugar Time and May You Always.
I think we even found an old photo of you. Now,
Yes.
Now, when
That's
was
the first time we met you.
We met
That
them
was Dick Clark's show.
You came to ABC, and you were doing some show, I don't know, and you came over next door, and we took some pictures together.
It was on the
were
Lawrence
so
Welk rehearsal.
excited.
have you ever sung together?
No.
We haven't.
Do you all have a favorite? Do you have a favorite song that you
always?
Can you remember that one? Can you remember that one, girl?
Well, let me get that. That's about you. You start the key. Yeah, we're sitting in the wrong position, too. Phyllis always starts everything.
Yeah. No, not necessarily.
She starts it and ends it.
May you always walk in sunshine, slumber warm when night winds blow. May you always live with laughter, for a smile becomes you so.
Is that enough?
Yeah.
Well, it's wonderful. You just all just fall right into your harmony parts automatically?
She's so easy to follow.
She's a leader.
Yeah.
She's a pushy lead.
But I mean, like, do you know what your part is? Like, you're an alto, and don't you ever sing like Christine? You do. Low part.
Yeah.
So that's it.
And if I would change a key, they're right there.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever like done a song and then all of you forgotten a verse or a chorus
Left
together?
out
We've done
something.
that. We've come off stage and said, oh, we didn't sing the second chorus.
But you all did it
But we all
together?
did it together and not realize it.
Many times we make the same, we'll make a mistake similar to what you're saying, but I mean, make
like
it together.
Yeah,
That's
we do that
unbelievable.
Same thing when we're acting together. If she looks, we're on stage or something, I can see it in her eyes if she's like lost, and I'll know I better jump right in right there.
Yeah,
You can just see it. You don't have to say anything. It's just
Well, have you ever skipped an entire scene and you both came out? Now the audience doesn't have any idea what's going on.
and the producer said, "Great cut, girl."
Yeah. Now, Janet, you were always the baby.
People always call me the baby, and I had a great place in our family because we're the 4 oldest of 11 children. We have 6 girls, 5 boys.
Right.
So on the road, I was the baby, and I didn't have to do anything. But at home, I was one of the big guys. So it was diapers and dishes, and just like everybody else.
How was that going on the road, though? Because you really were young, and you guys went on the road.
It was hard because we didn't like to leave our family at home, all the babies. There was always a new baby when we came
There was
back.
no parent or anything that went with you?
Daddy went with us. Our dad went with us.
Oh, here's the
11 of us. We were the 4 oldest and then the little one.
Oh, my heavens,
And
look at that.
That baby is now 33.
31.
31 is the baby?
When I got married, there's 20 years difference between my youngest brother and me. And when I got married, my husband had a 7-month-old brother-in-law.
Wow.
And mom now has 23 grandchildren. So the family, our younger brothers and sisters are now just starting their families. So, but when we'd go on the road, Daddy was just like your mom. Our dad was our manager. So we at least brought Daddy with us, and we could be together as a family there. But we miss Mom and the little ones so much.
There's someone on your Daddy with us, yeah.
That had to be hard, though, leaving Mom and the other kids and your dad and going on the road. And
It's horrible.
like sort of almost growing up on the road, yeah?
We did, about 8 months out of the year.
Living with musicians?
Yeah. We had to, as we got older, we had to nurse the band members' hangovers. In the morning, we'd try and keep them away from Mr. Welk, and so he wouldn't notice.
How old were you girls when you left for the big time?
Oh, we were teenagers, but unlike their parents, our parents wanted nothing to do with show business or our career, and we have no other sisters at home and no brothers. We always wanted more family, but
so their
especially
whole family
a brother.
bailed out and went into show business.
So they were like, all they said, we could accomplish one thing after another. I remember we opened at the Copa, and in those days, if you didn't make it at the Copa, you were like really in bad shape.
So tell us the story when we come back. We have to take a break. I'm getting a break sign. Coming up, which one of these lovely ladies set her sister up on a date with a nerd from hell? We'll get to the bottom of it when we come back. Hey, everybody, call and let me know what you think of my show, and don't hold back to spare my feelings. No one else around here does. Why should you? Tell me your suggestions and show ideas. Just call 1-900-28-VICKY. That's 1-900-288-4254. Call costs 75 cents, and you must be at least 18 to call.
Add more sparkle and shine to your bathroom with the better cleaning scrubbing bubbles in new Dow bathroom cleaner. Now we work even harder, so you don't have to.
With Mama Libman's Wonder Mop, your hands never touch water. Just slide its special wringer sleeve down and twist. Libman, better brooms, brushes, and mops.
Back, and we're talking to 8 of the loveliest and most loving sisters that I've seen in a long time. They're all in show business: the McGuire Sisters, the Lennon Sisters, and the Landers Sisters. Let's finish up that Copa story you were going to tell us about leaving home.
It was referring to their parents, you know, being involved in their careers where our parents were not. In fact, every time we spoke with them, which was frequently, they wanted us to come back home. So actually, we worked the Copa, and it was the Copa Cabana in New York, and we did very, very well. The business was great, and they, when you do good business, then you get on the menu, and they put a Copa Bonnet. It's called the Copa Bonnet Award. So I told our parents that we had the Copa Bonnet Award. We were very thrilled, and they said, "What's that, and what does that mean?" And they really weren't that impressed. It took them about 5 years to really accept the fact that we had left the church work and singing and go to New York.
Is that amazing? Now, did they ever finally give in and come to New York and enjoy all of it?
Yes, they did, and they loved it. The first time they saw us was when we were playing the Chicago Theater, and then they really accepted it.
Oh, that's... Now, you know, I want to go back to teenage and dating. And Audrey, Judy, you guys have stories about...
Oh, you know...
Boys. Did you share boyfriends at all?
No. People always ask us if we ever dated the same guy, and it never, ever, ever, ever happened.
We had this theory, when we'd meet a guy, see, we're so different in personality that he would either have to be attracted to Audrey or me instantly.
And if he didn't know that instant, then he was out. He wouldn't date anybody.
He would flirt with Audrey,
if he would flirt with one, and then, God forbid, he would look at the other one.
Forget it.
Because blood is thicker than water.
Did you marry similar kinds of guys, or very different, or what?
Very different. Mm-hmm.
What does your husband do, Judy? Well, your husband's a ball player, yeah?
Yeah, he played professional baseball for 10 years, and Tom Needensfjord.
Uh-huh.
And my husband's a New York businessman. We have a bi-coastal marriage.
Yeah, that's right. Your mom was telling me you're bi-coastal, and she's proud of you anyway.
All the time.
Yeah?
One of us is. Uh-huh.
Tell us about, now, one of you girls wanted to be Mrs. Eddie Fisher, yes?
Oh, I was madly in love with Eddie Fisher. I was about 11 years old, and he had his TV show on, and we were asked to do his show. And I had practiced writing Janet Lennon Fisher. I mean, Mrs. Fisher. I mean, I totally loved him. And he, at the time we did his show, I was like 11 years old, and he bought these beautiful pink dresses for us, I remember. And so then I really thought he loved me. And he was just getting divorced from Debbie Reynolds. And then he married Elizabeth Taylor. He broke my heart. Very sad.
Oh, you couldn't catch him there in the middle, huh? Do you talk at all, Phyllis, about dating Sam Giancana and what that was like?
If someone asks me about it,
What was that like?
I don't especially volunteer it.
Was it exciting, or...
Excuse me?
Was it exciting, or...
Well, I loved him.
Yeah?
And when I first met him, I did not know who he was. That happens to a lot of entertainers, especially when you're working Las Vegas. We were working Vegas 2 months out of the year. And each engagement was 4 weeks and 7 nights a week, 2 shows a night. So you do sort of hang around the casinos.
You need a little excitement.
Yeah. So anyway, when I met Sam, he was introduced to me as Sam Flood, and from there he was a dashing, exciting man. So that's how that started.
Who was extremely good to you?
Yes.
But now, how did you girls feel about this?
Well, they didn't say too much, but Dorothy's husband gave me an ultimatum and said if I didn't stop seeing him, that he was going to pull her from the trio.
Oh.
Yeah. Lord help, Lord help the mister who comes between me and my sister. And Lord help the sister who comes between me and my man.
We're going to find out why it took the Lennon Sisters 12 years to write their autobiography. We'll be back.
Write to us at Vicki, or better yet, put your thoughts down in 30 seconds or less on videotape and send it to us at 3000 West Alameda Avenue, room 2977, Burbank, California, 91523.
Here goes nothing. Hi. You promised you wouldn't get scared. Okay, so I lied. I'm not going to hurt you. What do you want? I've been trying to contact you. Didn't you get my message last night? Yes, I did. Sometimes I get so lonely. I could scream. Please don't. I don't think I could handle that again. Gosh, no, I wouldn't do that. After all, I need your help. How can I help you?
showbiz's most sensational sisters, Audrey and Judy Landers, Dee Dee, Janet, Kathy, better known as the Lennon Sisters, and Phyllis and Dorothy and Christine, better known... Dottie. Is it Dottie instead of...
Dorothy, either way, it doesn't matter.
I saw in your little chair in that picture earlier, it said Christine and Dottie and Phyllis, better known as those McGuire sisters. So now, I hate to be nosy, but how did it ever end up with Sam Giancana? What happened?
Well, he's not, you know, he passed away.
But you guys didn't ever marry. It didn't. What happened? Did you just too much pressure?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm doing a book, and the book is being written now, and so any and all of these questions that anyone wants to know will be in the book. I really should kind of just save it for the book.
Well, yeah, I guess it's a good tease for the book. Speaking of which, you girls took 12 years to write your autobiography. What were you doing?
We did. It was hard because when we get together, as you can see, we love to talk. And we'd get all the kids off to school and we'd meet at, say, Janet's house one morning. Well, she'd get there and she'd have some fantastic baked buns and stuff, and we'd drink and we'd talk about the TV shows we saw last night. We'd talk about the kids' grades in school, what the kids are doing. Pretty soon it's noon. We'd have lunch. We'd never write. We'd go to our mom's. She'd feed us. We finally rented a hotel room and tried to do that. 10 years later. Yeah. And we tried to do that, and we couldn't wait till it was time when we could have a baked potato at 5 o'clock.
You know, read the room service menu. I mean,
now, who dated the nerd from hell?
Janet, too.
Kathy set me up. Kathy wanted to go out with this really good-looking guy, and the only way she could go with him is if I went out with this other person. It was this big dance, and this guy had, like, learned to dance at cotillion, and he was, you know, one of these kind of guys.
He was very cool.
And it's like when they played the Mexican hat dance, I was the only one drug out on the floor, and he was doing... and I could have killed her. And I wrote about him in our book. This is terrible. I hope he doesn't see the show. I wrote about this person without saying his name in our book. And he wrote me and he said, "Do I detect that I was that person in your book?" And he had me sign the book to him.
He knew exactly who it was.
Yes.
You know, I was laughing looking at that clip of you guys when we bumped in there, and you're sitting there looking at Judy, who looks absolutely fabulous, saying, "How can I possibly help you?" and you tell a story about when Judy turned 12 years old and puberty hit, and
oh yeah. Well, you know, Judy's kind of like, she was like kind of like the ugly duckling story. I mean, she was a real tomboy and a gymnast, and she was never really that pretty. And
kind of chunky and
there you
strong.
are. That was even in the blossoming stage. I mean, but all of a sudden, I mean, one summer when she was 12, I mean, she blossomed. I mean, she got a figure like that, and that
things just went bloom.
Yeah.
Everything fell into place.
Were you upset about that, Audrey?
No, I was so happy.
No, I mean, like, my daughter's biggest thing in life is that she's never going to have boobs bigger than mine. She's just devastated about it. You know? It's just like the worst trauma in her life.
I can aspire.
I said, look, they're still in the Northern Hemisphere. That's good.
Vicki, I could never aspire to my sister, okay? In that area, you know.
She's got an awesome figure.
Yeah, but, thank you. But, I mean, I never... You know, we both
wondered how sisters felt about that stuff. If you get jealous of things like that. Did you have a question over here?
Yes, I did.
Stand up. What is your question?
For the Lemon Sisters, what was
Lennon.
Lennon.
Not Lemon. Hon, how old are you?
24.
We're not depressed at all, are we, girls? The Lemon Sisters.
What was the strangest thing to ever happen on a show to you guys?
Oh boy,
Tell her the cow story. I love that story.
Well, the shows were live at that time, like on the air live, that was it, and you didn't have a break. It's just like the quick change, like you talked about, Carol. And we did theme shows on the Lawrence Welk Show every week, and there was one that was the country show and country fair, and we all had little crinoline dresses, and we were at a picnic and a party in the fair and all that, and they'd bring in animals, and the cow did his duty. And we're all singing, you know, we're so cute and sweet and flat. Just all of us. And it's live. And we're just still smiling and dancing and keep looking at this. And this one guy who's a bass player in the band was a vegetarian, right? And so he like knew everything about health. And he came over and says, don't worry, it's just hay. And it was so
Oh, it's everywhere.
Like, one of the worst things that's happened on a live show.
Isn't that a delightful story? Okay, on that happy note, we're going to take a break and something special for one of our showbiz sisters when we come back.
On Vicki, meet the mothers of today's hottest young stars. Punky Brewster's Soleil Moon Frye, Olympic medalist Christy Yamaguchi, rapper Hammer, and Married with Children's Christina Applegate.
To our showbiz sisters, Phyllis, Dorothy, and Christine McGuire, Janet, Kathy, and Dee Dee Lennon, and Audrey and Judy Landers. And we have questions for you girls. Stand up. Yep.
Hi, I have a question for the McGuire sisters. I have 3 young daughters that are the same age part as you all are. And how'd y'all get along when you were young?
Answer. Think back now, girls. Did you get along perfectly?
No, not perfectly, but we got along very well.
We had to, because we were reared very strictly, and we had to be sort of a team.
Protect each other.
Protect each other from the strict way we were brought up. I must say that Dorothy and Chris are more bonded than I am to them, except we're all very bonded because they're closer. They're only 19 months apart, you know. So they were like a little. They were already really almost.
So they were all bonded. Then you came along. How'd you turn into the leader?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. Honestly.
Really? What makes you emerge as the leader?
I don't know. It's just the way God made it.
Do you have a stronger personality than...
Well, in some ways, they're very strong in their own ways.
She's just a good leader.
Yeah?
I mean, I wouldn't want to lead.
Does she lead you in everything, like business and bookings and decisions, or just in the music department?
No, just...
Because you all are very different.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. How would you categorize your personalities? What kind of a person would you say in several words, Christine, are you?
What I am? Gee, I don't know.
Well, I mean, like, are you a homebody or are you
I'm a homebody. I really am. I'm more maternal, I think. And Phyllis has to speak for herself.
Well, I just didn't do any of those things. So.
No, I think you did more.
Who had a question up here? Stand up.
This is for the McGuire sisters. What advice would you give to a young person aspiring to be a singer today?
Discipline. Discipline, really rehearse and take vocal lessons. And everyone can, if you can talk, you can sing. If you can speak, you can sing. So you have to find it and just do it.
Well, so a lot of people need a lot more coaching than other people, though, because you guys just naturally... Well, you do, yes. What's your question?
Yes, also the McGuire sisters. I had asked, you said your parents didn't want to go along with you. Well, who did go with you?
Oh, when you left home, were you old enough to do this on your own, or did you have to have a chaperone?
Yes, we were all out of high school, and it worked fine.
Question over here.
Have the sisters ever competed for success? Ever, like, throughout their life?
For the 4 of us, we were all so close and enjoyed each other so much and respected each other's talents that I know at times we were asked, you know, oh gosh, you know, you could do solo more. And it's like, well, no, it's more fun this way. And no, you do the solo. No, you do the solo. So we were real comfortable with our life as just as sisters and singing together than going out on the road and being a soloist.
Have you, Audrey, Judy, have you guys ever been competitive?
No, in fact, we always had this, even though we really didn't always work together.
Had separate careers
But we always felt if we were up for the same role, we just wanted one of us to get it. And we knew that we each would give different interpretations to the part, so we'd each study it, and then we'd do it for the other, and we'd each take a little of the other one's performance.
We could each give the best performance.
And then we'd just hope one of us would get it.
Then you totally confused the casting person.
Yeah, totally confused.
What about what now?
What about popularity? Did anyone compete for popularity?
Was anybody more popular than the other one?
I think that's the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're happy for each other.
What is your question?
For the Lennon Sisters, which one of you played on Dallas, and did you enjoy the love scenes?
You still don't have them straightened out, do you? No?
I played on Dallas, and the love scenes were a lot of fun. You know, you have to have a lot of humor when you do a love scene, because they're always very difficult. There's a crew of 52 people standing around watching, so you have to have a good sense of humor.
It's not all it's cracked up to be, I guess. Laugh your way through it. Of course, that's the way it goes at my house, too, you know, when I'm doing a love scene. Don't go away, more with our celebrity sisters when we come back. For tickets to Vicki, please send a self-addressed stamped envelope to NBC Tickets, Vicki, 3000 West Alameda Avenue, number 1501, Burbank, California, 91523. think we got time for one more quick sister question before we go, and it is?
Yes, this is directed to the Lennon sisters. There were 11 in your family. 4 of you became very, very successful. What happened to the other 7? Did they pursue any careers?
They were all pretty young when we started singing. In fact, a lot of them weren't even born. But they all have, you know, different jobs, but every one of them are incredibly talented. And we sing as 11. Like each of our weddings and marriages, the other 10 would sing, and we do harmony. And we have a couple of successful groups in between that are performing right now. So we're really lucky. And
we made you a tie-dye t-shirt, We want you to go home and put that on, take your bra,
Take my bra off. That's
okay? I want to thank you all. This has been great fun. I'm saying goodbye-bye. I want to take just 1 second to say goodbye to WSLS-TV in Roanoke, Lynchburg, Virginia, and to KXAN-TV in Austin, Texas. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you all. It was great fun. Have a wonderful day. Room accommodations furnished by the Sheraton Universal Hotel, official hotel of Universal Studios Hollywood. It's the hotel of the stars and so close to the action, you'll feel like a star yourself.
BLS Limousines, serving Los Angeles and New York for over 14 years, can provide sedans and limousines for every special event. BLS Limousine, cars to the stars.